Ladies and gentlemen, the shit's about to hit the fan.
What does everybody want?
So, like, they don't have, like, a backdrop for us or anything like that, and, you know, this black entrance. It's just really... Lionheart. You mean Chris... No, oh, Lionheart's here. Oh, hey, we're rolling, good. Hey, boys and girls, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Heel Turn Podcast. Today we have a couple of special guests. First off, we have Lionheart, who happened to be the final Wrestling All-Star Promotion Heavyweight Championship. He's one half of the Hawaiian Lions, and he's managed by the beautiful disaster Rory Angel, who also, of course, manages the other half of the Hawaiian Lions, the current All-American City Champion, Draven Post. Rory, Lionheart, how you guys doing today?
How's it going?
There we go. Good stuff. So tell me about your guys' self. Personal stuff. Good stuff. Anything at all you want to go over?
Do you want to tell it or do you want me to tell it?
You always tell it better than I do, so feel free. I'll chime in where I'm needed. She's better at running her mouth than I am anyway, so...
Yeah, I am. Short version, Lionheart and I have actually known each other since we were 6 years old. We've been best friends since first grade. I moved away from the town we were living in when I was 12. We lost touch for 25 years. He found me on Facebook. Kept inviting me to all these indie wrestling shows. I've been a wrestling fan since I was little.
I've probably been one for longer.
Yeah, so he kept inviting me to these shows, I kept saying no. So we hadn't seen each other, and finally I said, you know what, I'm going to go. And, Captain Charisma over here decides that's the night he's going to lay everything out for me. He's going to be like, by the way, I've been in love with you since we were 6 years old. And then he kisses me for the first time. And it's my first indie show. And I'm seeing my best friend of 30-some years in spandex.
And Fringe at the time.
And Fringe. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And then things just kind of happened, and I ended up defending you from the classiest man in the multiverse, Scotty Stevens, multiple times, might I add.
Yeah, you beat me over the head with a chair a bunch of times, and she got in his face.
A lot.
And, yeah, that's how she segued into the managerial role.
Well, somebody's got to look out for you. And the rest is pretty much history. We got married last June, so we've been married a little over a year, almost a year and a half now.
Right.
Well, congratulations. First up, I guess, question I have, where did the name Lionheart come from?
I've always been a Chris Jericho fan. I actually get that a lot.
Good. I'm
considered a Jericho knockoff.
I didn't want to offend you with the little opening thing I had planned for you. I'm glad you weren't offended.
Trust me. I've been legit called a Jericho knockoff early on.
It was worse when he wore the fringe all the time. He had the fringe on the boots. He had the fringe on the arms. I mean, it was bad.
And I wore yellow on black like Jericho did in his earlier days. So the look was very inspired by him.
I mean, it could be worse. You could be the Dollar Tree Ric Flair.
Well, at least your stuff doesn't molt when you wear it in the ring.
No, true.
You can always tell when Rick's there because there's just a trail of feathers. It's like Iago from Aladdin. So ticked off that he's molting.
He hasn't even hit the ring yet.
No.
So you guys are in vicious feuds with everyone from Miles Jacobs in the Way to Knight Enterprises to Marcus Knight in the Paradigm. What are your future plans for the faction and Rory and her Angels?
Warrior and her Angels. I like that. Well, I mean, Draven Post already has a championship around his waist. I wouldn't mind adding one to mine, and then there's the tag team belts.
Yeah. And some people think that we're mad because of if you watched RCW Global, everybody saw the Battle Royal where Draven became #1 contender. Yes, he threw Lionheart over the top rope.
He did.
In our defense, if it had been reversed, Lionheart would have done the same thing. It's a battle royal. It's every man for themselves. So,
right. And with a championship opportunity on the line, you take, you take it. You pick your spots. You earn them how you earn them.
Yeah, and a win for him is a win for all of us. It keeps moving us up the rankings, and it keeps showing everybody in that locker room why we are a force to be reckoned with. And I'm tired of people thinking that we're not.
And then there's a whole thing, like everyone wants to, it's a common saying, if you're really friends with someone, if you're really family like we try to be, you share in other successes. I'm not going to get mad at him for seeing an opportunity and taking it.
No, absolutely not.
So, Rory, you and Tony T have had some major issues as of late, which has led to some big suspensions for not only you, yourself, but also Lionheart and even commentator Michael Voorhees. What's up? What's next for Rory versus Tony T?
Rory versus Tony T. Well, I said that I wanted 2023 to be the year of the Hawaiian Lions and the year of Rory Angels. 2023, I have two goals in mind. Number one, my men are going to have tag team gold around their waist. And number two, I will be manager of the year. And I'm going to shut everybody up. As far as Tony T goes, I'm concerned about him. I mean, he is older. He's a little fragile.
But maybe he's a little wiser now, too, and knowing that he shouldn't be coming after you.
Yeah, well, the problem is now he's coming after all of our family. Like, Michael Voorhees getting suspended for defending us. That's why we sent him on that vacation for December. He deserved it. And it wasn't fair. We took the suspension as it was. We were more worried about Draven while we were gone. We heard he got into some altercations with a couple people, so I'm a little worried about exactly what's going to happen when we come back. Terrence Knight from My Enterprises has contacted me. Rick Lieb is not overly happy with me. In our defense, we did not tell him to lock Rick in the cage. We told him to leave Rick alone, and Draven didn't want to listen. And
yeah, we told him to stay out of trouble, not dive in head first.
Yeah, so I don't know what. I know in December we're going up against the Paradigm. We have a clear path. We want to get to Marcus Knight. We want to get to Merciless. We want that. We've had issues with him over several years. When we first came to RCW, he started sending us some threatening packages, and he started making some threats against me. The Paradigm has kind of started eyeing up our daughter. I don't know what's going on, but it's time to shut the Paradigm down completely, and we're going to start with Kenny Collins and Joe Zook on December 17th.
And would that be top priority over even the Pope brothers at this point in time?
Right now, I love my guys to death, and I have every confidence in the world that they can take tag team gold. The problem is that they have not had enough opportunities to work together as a tag team, so they're still a little green. I mean, yes, we did beat Rick and Miles. I mean, Draven pinned Rick Lieb.
Yeah, he mentioned that. He mentioned that while he was on our first episode that he pinned Rick Lieb a few times actually.
He did pin Rick Lieb. I don't care what Rick said. What was it like? Shut it up. But yeah, we need to get Draven and Lionheart more cohesive as a tag team, and the suspension did not help that. I had ideas for October. Unfortunately, those didn't go to the wayside. So now we're going to start picking up in December, and we're really going to start pushing the tag team, and we're going to put everybody on notice. So the Popes, the Top Guns, Mayhem Mafia, I don't care who we have to go through. We will get to the Popes, and we will take their titles. And if the Popes don't have them by then, whoever's got them, we're going to take them.
And we're not going anywhere.
No.
We're sticking around RCW for quite a long time.
I don't think our daughter would give us much of a choice.
That is true. That is very true.
So, Rory, I know you have, as you mentioned, aspirations for Manager of the Year. Are you looking to add anyone to your stable? And if so, do you have anyone in specific that you're looking to add?
I am always looking to add new and upcoming talent. To be completely honest, there are people that are on the roster now that I feel like if they could get their head, and I don't want to name names, but I really, and we talked about this.
We have.
There's a couple people in particular that I would love to represent if they would just get out of their own way.
Yeah.
Just.
Did you use that specific word on purpose? Did you use that specific word on purpose?
I may or may not have.
We plead the fifth on that.
I plead the fifth. There's a lot of talent. There's new talent. Brandon Miller's an amazing talent.
He is.
He's up and coming. I would love to have Brandon Miller. There's a couple of other guys I'm looking at. But right now my focus is my husband and Draven and working them up to getting them to where I want them to be. We already have one belt. If I get one more, then I'm tied with the Beast Ken Starmanera, and I do.
Two.
Ooh. So I got one belt down and one more to go, and then I'll at least be tied up. And if I get tag teams, that's 3 belts.
All right, Lion.
Rory, 3 belts.
All right, Lionheart. Time for the tough question. If it had to be between the tag team gold and your own personal singles champion, which are you choosing?
So right now, it's really a tough call. It depends on where the cards land, as it were. Like I said, I would love nothing more than to hold the belts with my brother Draven Post. But if for some reason that's not in the cards right now, if the gods don't play in our favor on that one, I wouldn't mind gunning for the television belt or possibly even the heavyweight belt. I think Cody Reaper and I'd have a hell of a match.
Yeah, I agree. Cody Reaper is an amazing champion.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Schizo for it. I mean, that's
a feat.
That is a feat in itself.
All right.
And the television title, Black, I love him to death too.
All right, now time to go into my favorite segment of the show. It's called the 7+1. I'm going to hit you with 7 rapid-fire questions. Don't care which one of you two answer it. Just go ahead and answer. Give me a little explanation if you'd like.
Both answer.
There you go. And then we're going to hit you with one last one, and give me a lot of explanation on that final one, okay? First question. What's your favorite championship belt?
I like the old school Intercontinental title that I bought you. I bought you with the blue background on it.
Yeah, the one that Shawn Michaels wore back in the day.
Yes.
I've always been a fan of the Winged Eagle championship that Randy Savage wore.
What's the... we'll go The Miz or Dolph Ziggler?
Ooh. Considering we live in Parma, that's really hard because they're both from around here. I'm gonna have to go with the Miz. I'm sorry, I love the Miz. I watch Miz and Mrs. It's probably one of my favorite shows. But Dolph Ziggler's funny. I gotta go with the Miz.
I would probably go with Dolph Ziggler for one reason. I feel he deserves better. He deserves way better.
Heel or face?
Face.
Heel. I love you to death, but I would love to be a heel. Just for a little bit. I would love to just mess some people up just a little bit.
You would. You got that evil streak about you for that one. Me, I personally like being cheered. I like when the kids want to come up and pose for pictures and, you signed autographs. You know how that feels.
Yeah, but like Razor Rose says, it's good to be the bad guy.
To each their own.
If you could wrestle anyone, live or dead, doesn't even have to be a wrestler, who would it be?
Wrestle's an actual wrestle, not wrestle, right?
Yeah, we're not going there.
Wrong wrestling.
In that regard.
See, my problem is that for me as a manager, it would be more of who I would want to manage more than anything. Because I never had aspirations to be a wrestler. I wanted to be that person outside the ring doing exactly what I'm doing. So, if I had to pick somebody I would have loved to have managed, it probably would have been Roddy Piper. But he's also my favorite wrestler, so...
For me, it would have probably been Chris Jericho or Diamond Dallas Page. I imagine a match with either of the two of them would have been... Even I would have looked good in that.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Yes.
Perfectly acceptable answer. What's the best wrestling nickname you've ever heard of?
The best wrestling nickname.
Le Champion.
Not the Ocho?
Chris Jericho's every nickname Chris Jericho's ever had in his life, and it's just Le Champion. What is he? Rock and roll. Yeah, Chris Jericho had the best ones. You can't even compare.
Even when he was welcoming people to Monday Night Jericho.
Yeah, a Raw is Jericho, and then he's now, what is he? The Ocho. The Demo God. Yeah, it's got to be Jericho.
All right, and last but not least, if you could have any manager from any promotion, current or past, who would it be? Present company excluded. Yeah, excluded.
Excluded.
I was gonna say, but you better answer.
I don't want to get you in trouble there, Lionheart.
No.
I already know who I'd want.
Yeah,
I know who you would want.
Go ahead.
What? If
were you?
Paul Heyman. Love Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's a god among managers. Like, that's one of the biggest reasons I would love if you were a little bit more of a badass, because I could Paul Heyman and it would be epic. I could like Paulie dangerously. It'd be like Rory Angel.
Rory Angel.
See what I did?
Nice. I see what you did there.
Alright, so what about you?
Probably Jim Cornette for a lot of the same reasons.
Tennis racket. The guy could hype someone up like nobody's business, and he can make even the most mediocre people come off like absolute stars.
I was a big Jimmy Hart fan for very similar reasons. Well, anyways, folks, this is another edition of the Heel Turn Podcast. I'd like to thank Rory Angel and Lionheart. Thank you very much for being on the show, folks.
The pleasure's all ours,
Absolutely.
Good sir.
And why don't you go ahead and tell us what you two will be doing in the next couple of months?
Let's see. Saturday, November 17th. Lionheart is a veteran of RAPW. We've actually been invited to take part in their Battle Royal for their Thanksgiving show on November, I believe it's the 17th, Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Right.
So we'll be there. And then, of course, RCW, Twas the Fight Before Christmas, on Saturday, December 17th, Akron Turner Club, Talmadge, Ohio. My husband, Lionheart, will be teaming up with the Hawaiian Hammerhead Draven Post to knock out, crack their heads like coconuts, is that what he says?
That's what he likes to say.
I'm getting better with it. To take out the Paradigm.
We got some rankings to climb up.
And some mouths to shut up. So that's where we're at for the next couple of months.
Definitely.
Thanks again for joining us on the show, and this was another Heel Turn Podcast. Yeah, I know they got us a light. I see the light. It's blinding me in my eyes. Jeez. Would you cut already?